Hi, everyone. Well, today we're really going to hit rock bottom, literally. We are going to have a blind bottom shelf battle of the flagship number one and number two top selling bourbon brands. Number one, Jim Beam White Label Bourbon. Number two, Evan Williams Black Label Bourbon. These truly are the number one and number two top selling bourbon brands. Now, I always assume by that the really truly top selling of those brands are these flagships, even though they're probably respectively the worst of their respective lines. But when you go in any store, you'll see all on the bottom shelf on the mega sizes, gigantic bottles. You always see this and this. So I kind of thought, let's give a little focus on the bottom shelf for a moment. I happen to have this bottle because I just did this review, another blind comparison between this and the Evan Williams single barrel. The Evan Williams single barrel clearly and easily beat this. But I have another interest in here. I give this Jim Beam White Label. I kind of always pick on it, and I always kind of, and I think rightfully so. I just do not think this is a very good bourbon. This particular one, obviously the Jim Beam line has some very, very good bourbons, but this flagship right here, I always kind of pick on it a lot, and I think rightfully so. However, when I did this blind comparison against the Evan Williams single barrel, which I really like, even though the proof is a little bit low, 86.6 proof, I was kind of thinking to myself, this didn't taste really that good either. So I'm like, I pick on this all the time. I don't pick on this one, but I wonder if I put them in a blind battle, would this really lose? I'm not saying that I think either one of these tastes great, because I don't think that's going to come out of this. But I'm wondering, would Evan Williams truly beat this? I don't know, because as soon as I tasted it, I'm like, this really isn't that great. I'm wondering how they do together. So with this bottle, I picked up this quick little shooter here. This is what I'm never going to buy never see a regular size bottle of this on my bar. But if I ever want to do these experiments, these are great to do, a buck or two, whatever these are. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pour these in glasses, do this completely blind, and I want to see if this really is still the worst of the two. But I just thought this would be kind of a cool way to do it, because when you do it blind, the truth truly does come out. And so I thought it'd be interesting. Let's get this poured up, mixed up, and let's get started. Okay, we have everything poured in glasses. I mixed it up many, many times. Again, I don't want to bore you with that part. Trust me, this is all mixed up. I have no clue which glass is which. I do want to note one thing, though, that gives the Evan Williams, just before I even taste anything, one leg up on the Jim Bourbon, aside from the fact that this is why I have to do this blind, because my perception is automatically going to make me think the Evan Williams is better. So this has to be done blind, because I have such a bias against this. But that's not the point. What gives this one leg up is the proof. So the Evan Williams Black Label is 86 proof, and the Jim Beam White Label is 80 proof. And I've read about that, and they kind of said, well, these are the flagships. These two truly are, a direct competition with each other, and this is one, this is two. And it's interesting because you have the White Label here, and you have the Black Label here, whereas a step up from this is the White Label, the bottled and bond White Label, and a step up from this is the extra age Black, which I think now is the 7-year, and this is Black. So, but anyway, they always say that these are not even proofs. Evan Williams has 86 proof; they have 80. So there's a leg up on that. But let's put that aside. I think in a blind, that 6 points can get washed over if I like one or the other better. So we are going to get this started. I'm just going to randomly pick one here. And I'm not even going to, I should have brought water, but let's just do this. Okay. All right. Automatically, I think this could end up being easier, but I'm going to try to really be objective, because I really do know what the Evan Williams nose is, and Jim Beam's are pretty obvious too, but. All right, let me taste this. Cheers. Cheers. I'm gonna do one thing, get some water. Okay, I'm back. I always start this off with that water, and then I always think that I should have it, because I think it's important. So let me do this in order again. thinking the scent on this is a little more pronounced. That doesn't necessarily mean good, but I think I get it. Let me just do the palates again. Cheers. Isn't this one? I think I know which is which just by the taste. You haven't seen me make too many faces, so neither one of these is great. We're going to say that again. And then this one, and then we're going to decide. All right, well, I may be surprised by this, but okay, so neither one of these is great again. I thought that this scent was a little more pronounced. I just happened to recognize that Evan Williams scent. I always recognize the Jim Beam palette. So I'm thinking this is Evan Williams by the scent of it and also the taste of it. This is, I think, of the two of them, the proof, if I'm correct. Maybe I should see if I'm correct first. I think that, I mean, I don't know which is which for sure, because until I see it, but of the two of them, I don't know. This one actually isn't as offensive, you know. I have a weird feeling that I'm going to say this is Jim Beam's and this is Evan Williams. So I'm going to say that, let me just do this once more. All right. Of the two of them, this one doesn't offend me as much. That's a hell of a way to say it. And for some reason, being honest, I think this is Jim Beam. This is Jim Beam. That's Evan Williams. Okay. I've been picking on this forever. This is why I did this. I mean, this doesn't take anything away from the fact that I do pick on this because I just don't like this, wouldn't buy this. So, again, I tasted this and just made me want to do this. And I'm happy I did. So here's the deal. In this particular blind, I thought this was less offensive. So the Jim Beam, I guess in this one was better, and this is why I did it. I do notice some things. I just noticed the Evan Williams. It just the mouth taste feels there's just something bitter in it. Which is when I did the single barrel, the Evan Williams single, I did say it's much more refined, evens that out, it's double the aging. I'm going to assume these are about the same amount of age, 4 years, give or take. But when I taste this Evan Williams Black Label now, and again, I wanted to have a disclaimer here. The Evan Williams Bottled and Bond 100 proof is definitely better than this. And the Evan Williams Small Batch, the 1783 90 proof is definitely better than this. So this is literally and purely this comparison because I think either one of the other two, I'm not even going to talk about the single barrel, I know that, but the other two I think would be better, but we're just doing the flagship. So I would say, I do notice more of a bitter taste. This always has that off-putting peanut taste. I think the Jim Beam is thinner than the Evan Williams, even though this is not like a really, terrific mouthfeel. The Jim Beam is a thinner mouthfeel. The Evan Williams has more of there's some type of a bitter taste in it. I think the nose is a little more mellow on the Jim Beam. So I guess we'd call this, I was able to pick them out. I'm a little biased, not even without the labels. I know the Jim Beam taste profile. I know the Evan Williams taste profile. I know the way they nose. So, I wouldn't want to call it a draw. I gave Jim Beam a little edge here. So maybe I won't pick on it as much. And if I'm going to do that, I'll make sure I pick on this just as much, if not more. But, here's another example of where a blind could surprise you. The surprise is minimal here because these are both, again, budget. They are what they are. Obviously, other bourbons in their lines are much better. Certainly Heaven Hill products, great Jim Beam products, all the rest. But for these two, all right, we'll give it its due for today between these two. I guess that's why it's number one. This is number two, but neither are a buy, and I don't think we'll be doing too many more of these. Cheers. Take care. Thanks for watching.